these internal location test stuff that Gary Stark posted some years back. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble for like showing these on stream. I don't know if he just had second thoughts and didn't want them to be out there, but he deleted them off his website. But they're there on the Internet Archive, so you're gonna have to issue a takedown request to them. Once you upload it to the internet, it's there forever. Sometimes. I'll just leave this on. Might as well have background audio. Alan Noon deleted his Street Fighter the movie, the game. Oh man, somebody must have saved it, right? But like I said, I feel like this paints a very interesting story of like what happened with Guardians of the Hood, and I'm definitely glad that Mr. Stark posted all these internal documents. It's a good look into what was going on at Atari at the time. All right, let me. Where is it? Do I have the window open? Let me double check. Be this one, right? It's too small. How about this? Why is it so small? I have to like recapture this. Digitizing hell. Okay, hold on. I had a capture window and then they fucking fucked up. Okay. Something like that. Okay. Well, anyway, this first document, this was actually, we'll start with the good stuff. These were like a, oh my god, it's still fucking, hold on. It's still cropped. I'll get this right, don't worry. This was actually a document about Pit Fighter. And some of the, I guess they brought this back up to when they were working on Pit Fighter 2. So you see a bunch of names they were mulling over for. Oh, that would be why it's. Hold on. Well, whatever. We'll keep it at that resolution. A bunch of names for Pit Fighter. Blood Fight, Blood and Gutter, Blood Spill, Blood Match, Bludgeon, Blood, just Blood, Blood Lord, Blood Dome, Obliteration Row, Death Fight, Death Clash, Death Arena, Death Bet, Death Duel. There was a game called Death Duel. Death Fight, Death Match, Death Gamble, Death Trap, Death Blow, Death Pit, Death Den, Bloody Death Duel Den, The Deadliest Game, Ring of Death, Dragon Warrior. You can't fucking call it Dragon Warrior. Come on. Pit Fighter. Hey, Pit Fighter was in there. Modern Gladiators. Glad Moderators. Headbangers Brawl. That's a good one. Ring Warrior. Prize Fighter. Bruiser's Brawl. Street Duel. Street Warrior. Street Lord. Knockout. Hitachi... wait. Street Lord, Knockout, Knockdown, Dragout. Kumatai. They keep thinking Kumite is Kumatai. Hitachi Eye. Digitizing Hell. Thump and Grind. Muscle Round, Smash and Stomp, Real Fight, Forbidden Arena, Paola, Mucho Macho Muscle, that would have been a good one. Killing Blow, Killing Floor, Fist Fest, Kick 'em Sick, Jump Kicks and Low Blows, that's lame. Marshall Fest, Prize Brawl, Mayhem Match, World of Hurt, Pound 'em Till They Bleed, Pounder, Slam Fest 90, we're having a ball and a hell of a time down here at Slam Fest. Thrasher, KO, DOA. Hey, they beat Tecmo to the punch. Self-defense, brutal, brutality, a brutal living, brutalathon, kick and crunch with a K. Hey, beating Mortal Kombat to the punch. Ultimate champion, Wumpathon, Tri-Wumpathon. What's the difference between a Wumpathon and a Tri-Wumpathon? Ultimate contest, Coma, Snuff. Can't release a game called Snuff. Contact Sport. Challenge from Hell. big fight, human obstacles, formidable opponent, mighty muscles, massive macho punch-out, violent simulator, survival of the fittest, heavy contest, serious opposition, domination. And for our awesome digitized animation process, real men. Yeah, trademark real men. That would have been good. Kumatai, name of contest in movie Bloodsport. Mitashi Ai, Japanese for duel. Anyway, so Pit Fighter 1 came out in like, I want to say it was like August or September of 1990. By November, they're already like brainstorming ideas for a sequel. They're calling it Pit Fighter 2, The Betrayal. Buzz, Tai, and Kato have once again joined forces to compete in the pit. With an all-new set of bad guys, the competition is tougher than ever. The previous champion, the ultimate... I thought it was the Ultimate Warrior, wants revenge. But even he cannot compare to the power of newest ultimate bad guy known only as the Master. So... Pit Fighter 1 required nearly all of our concentration just to develop the digitized and studio production technologies. That'll make Pit Fighter 2 a lot easier. How will it differ? Well, we've got a new cast of bad guys, each with individual personalities and fighting moves. Hardware permitting, we may add a fourth good guy, female, and corresponding bad guy. Additional fighting moves for good guys and bad guys. Also, with the aid of an animation editor, more complex moves will be possible. Completely new set of arenas. So there are other weapons, banked audio board. So they're just trying to make it like more of Pit Fighter 1. And that was the original idea. No plans to pursue a licensed property for this game. The plot. Other than visual cues and fighter descriptions, Pit Fighter never explicitly stated a plot to the players. The implication was that pit fighting was a cross between street fighting and boxing. Beyond that, it was left to the player's imagination. Other than the name itself, well, if you're gonna call it The Betrayal, like, who's doing the betraying? I need to know the lore here. There will be 10 to 12 bad guys. Pit had 8 of mixed skills: Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Karate, in ethnic backgrounds. Latino, Chinese, Russian, etc. Inner City Basketball Course. Abandoned drive-in movie. Well, they had some sort of movie theater in Guardians of the Hood. Low Life Casino. They put that in Danger Express. Where's the clown sex dungeon? Although new and better fighting moves will be used, Pit 2 will use the same button combination as Pit Fighter. Yeah, that didn't happen. Before and during the actual video shoots, there are literally dozens of small, non-technical jobs. Okay, this is all kind of boring stuff. Let's go to the next one. Attached are each core member's write-ups. Please review and we'll try to meet to discuss next week. They misspelled sequel. Sequel with an A. Focus initiation. So this is one of my favorite parts. Well, not this part. Pit Fighter benefited from staying with a proven theme and improving on it. Until Pit Fighter, Atari designers avoided making this kind of game because it was morally or ethically distasteful in their opinion. But history has proven this theme is not just a flash in the pan, and we need those Mazumas in the bank. Even though Pit Fighter didn't introduce dramatically new gameplay, it got a lot of mileage off the ingredients it did have. The realistic digitized look gave it that special look that separated it from its competition. Those from Accessible introduced something new. The cinematic look was definitely a draw to players. In any game that's significantly played, the more coin slots you've got, the more the game is going to make. Hell yeah. So, this part. My suggestions for Pit Fighter 2. Improved gameplay needs to be implemented. Though it wasn't necessary for Pit Fighter, it should be a priority for a sequel. We're just straight up saying that Pit Fighter played like shit. And then, well, you know what happened with Guardians of the Hood. The novelty of the Pit Fighters digitized look probably won't carry the sequel. Yeah, you're right. I don't believe that our original 3 heroes are strong enough to build a sequel around. We need new characters with story and personality. From this kind of base, sequels and licensing potential could be a reality. The jerkiness and blockiness should be improved to get a more polished look. I would recommend that we move from a static arena environment to a combination of side-scrolling and match scenes. So that's probably the where they started trying to make it like a beat-em-up. Effort should be made to accommodate 4 players, because that means more coin slots, that means more money. But if all the characters are on the same plane, overcrowding will exist. That's true. If you want big characters, they're going to take up a lot of space. What went right with Pit Fighter? 14-year-old boys who play fighting games. Really, they make us the money. Attack your core audience. The game tuning. The game was tuned very aggressively. The players enjoy a challenge. Easier tuning would bore them. Would it, though? While tuning, I paid close attention to successful competition out there and tried to take the best of all of them. Overall game length was also good. It could be played in one sitting, was therefore digestible, unlike some of our games which take 45 to 60 minutes to finish. That's a good point. Good wave-to-wave pacing. I like that Atari always uses waves for their stages. The grudge matches where players fought each other. Temporary change in the flow. Yeah, that was fun. Improve anim lock on the moves and graphics. More 2-player moves like the death grip. More women! Meaner and harder big boss. End guy. We do need more women. More objects that behave realistically. Better cabinet graphics and handling of them. It should not be a sequel. It should be a new game, perhaps with a license. So, already having like second thoughts about calling it Pit Fighter 2. I believe that Steven Seagal movies, Big Time Wrestling, and Pit Fighter all have characteristics in common. They're very uncomplicated. They appeal directly to the most base emotions, and they're generally not appreciated by adults. The exception being little old ladies at wrestling matches. In a sense, these are all examples of violent simulators. Okay, why didn't that catch on for fighting games? Why do we call them violent simulators? We're bringing it back for 2026. Ascertain which elements go towards making a successful violence simulator. It's got to look real. Pit Fighter used digitized graphics. Also, it must sound real. We have the Atari gongs, but, Pit Fighter had at least 4 times the number of grunt and groans as Final Fight. Does that mean it's better than Final Fight? It's got more groans? One contradiction to simulator theory is the extent to which hits are exaggerated. Like a good Rocky fight scene, all hits appear far more numerous and powerful than an ordinary man could possibly survive. The Superman syndrome. Okay. Video games appeal to one of the senses not even the movies can communicate, the sense of touch. Although we don't have the luxury of hard drive and force feedback, the joystick 3-button combination is simple and quite effective. Even missed punches were acknowledged with unique animation and audio. Responses must be regular and immediate. I would directly attribute the character's tight popularity over Buzz and Kato to his responsiveness. His pause after a victory is the shortest of the 3. That's a weird thing to note, because yeah, when you do like when you do Ty's triple kick, he just goes, yeah! And then he goes back to fighting, but Buzz has to like flex on him after he does his grab, and then Kato has to like bow and shit. Yeah, that shit was unnecessary. I don't know why they're bringing that up, though. Sufficient number of hidden moves to master to keep the players coming back. Yeah, even they knew Kato sucked. At all possible times, player continuations and add-ons should be allowed. 3/4 are always better than 1. 4 is even better! Game must provide a fine resolution of game time tuning. Doesn't exceed subject's attention span. We estimate the maximum attention span at half an hour, the length of your average sitcom. At 14 years old, beating up your buddies is most likely perceived as very macho ego for me. Alright, the completion of the project. Yeah, paid off. Marketing is not my forte. The right place at the right time. We're also fortunate in that Pit Fighter entered the market at a time when our competition had very little to offer. That is part of the key to why Pit Fighter was pretty big at the time. There was no Street Fighter 2 yet. Once Street Fighter 2 came out, everything got rewritten. So, making a new game after Street Fighter 2's out, you got a lot of work to do. Man, this keeps going and going. Makes them even more interested in beating up on real-looking large bad guys. Take that! Has new depth of meaning. Not to mention that we also make the players themselves into real big, beefy, dangerous guys rather than toons. This is giving the player power. We gave players a fairly large variety of moves so that it took a while to find them all, and it took even longer, and it was fun to try to find the best way to use them all. And yeah, the grudge match has a free chance to beat up your friend. Or a brilliant idea. Keep them. Yeah, about that. They didn't keep that. They didn't keep the free part anyway. Super moves are good, even though they're used mostly by casual players. Experts know they take too long, but not all our players are experts. They do feel very powerful, and even experts will use them as an in-your-face maneuver. Power Pill's lots of fun. There's no Power Pills in Guardians of the Hood, by the way. They took that out, unfortunately. Let me drag that a little bit. I'm sure the players loved having stuff to throw at each other. I'm also sure Gary plans on carrying that over into any sequel, so I won't go on about that. It's got fast action. Those fist and feet fly more quickly than in Double Dragon. I'm not really sure that this is a plus, but it's obviously not a minus. Alright. I guess that's the end of it. Putting smoother animation might slow it down somewhat. Do we want fast action, or do we want lots of frames of animation? You gotta balance it out. Yeah, we think this game is better than Double Dragon. So by February 1991, they'd... I guess the working title for it was Warrior. They didn't have a title for it yet. We'll have some more funny titles in a second. The plot. You and your pals grew up in this neighborhood. You went to school together, went to the movies together. You even competed in sports together. The neighborhood was once a friendly place, but things have changed. The streets are no longer safe. Punks and various gangs have invaded the neighborhood, turning it into a war zone. The Crips from the south, the Tongs and Skinheads from the east. Drugs, extortion, gang fights, the works. Even the police are intimidated. But you're not. Can you stand by and let it happen? No way. It's time to take back the neighborhood. The game consists of 4 waves. Each wave consists of a scrolling sequence, etc., etc. The wave climax, only one good... Wait, only one good guy fights the leader while the remaining players are disabled, forced to watch? That would have been a terrible idea. Just which good guy faces off the leader is determined by which good guy strikes the leader first? This should create some interesting strategies. Players can cooperate in the decision or not. Furthermore, each gang leader has a counterpart good guy. Okay, this is a bad system. I'm glad they dropped that. As bad as Guardians of the Hood is, it could have been worse. Between rounds, there's a training round in which the good guys fight each other for points, although I might simply award the decision to the player with the most brutality points. Based on the input from our recent links, players focus and we plan to tune the total game length to imagine approximately 25 to 30 minutes. Yeah, calling it the Crips and not the Crips. Crips with a T. Yeah, the Pit Fighter Nemesis system. We must surpass both the number of moves and the number of animation cells. We plan to exceed current sideways scrolling games in our attention to detail in the background graphics by making extensive use of digitization and camera techniques. Did they, though? I don't know. The good guys. Nick, always the leader, the decision maker. So everybody's got like a counterpart. All these characters that... none of these names were used. Maria, quiet, confident, very assured, but she's got a bodybuilder physique. Paul, he's the Hulk Hogan equivalent. Bulk Bogan. Counterpart, Horse of the Skinheads gang? Oh man, we got an Umo crossover. Mark is quiet and cautious. Golden Gloves champ. So none of those characters made it into the final, huh? One of the good guys is a female, also in response to the expert player's focus. Will also include females among the opposing gangs. Although there's not currently a female bad guy leader, we would not rule out that possibility. Wink, wink. Oh wow, they had the amusement park for Wave 1. Their leader is known only as Horse. He's at least Horse with a lowercase h. He's at least 6'6" and 300 plus pounds. Beating people up for no apparent reason. Wave 2, the Tongs. They're hanging out as Chinatown. Of course. He likes ice cream bars, and although perfectly happy to deal in drugs, he strictly forbids his gang from using them. Man, important lore. Wave 3, the Bloods. They control the prostitution and drug business. They have no qualms about selling crack on the school playgrounds. South side of town, the Red Light District. The leader is Curtis, a highly visible personality. He's a confirmed ladies' man. And the Jamaicans were Wave 4 instead of Wave 1. They don't have a specific territory. We'll be using the JSA3 audio board, which gives us the ability to double the number of stored digitized sounds. In addition, we're investigating the possibility of licensing music from known musical groups. Yeah, that's outside their budget, I think. So they were still like sticking with 3 buttons at the time before they wanted to like switch it. I just realized I should probably the game name is wrong. I'll just put Guardians of the Hood and development documents. My bad. The family cabinet, or a custom cabinet. Hunter Rogue, thank you for the raid. Schedule. Blah, blah, blah. Words. And then they're just estimating the cost of the game. This happens a lot in these documents. That's not the interesting stuff. Alright, when was this dated? The last one was in February. This is June 91. So, is the animation schedule unrealistic? Cut back the number of player characters. Cut back the number of waves. They're already talking about making cutbacks. Bad guys is in capital letters now. Warriors decided to try to use only 4 rather than 6 bad guys per game. So they're trying to shrink the game down a bit. I think they were... Again, I think it was them having grand ambitions and having to dial it back a little bit. It was suggested that Warrior looked into the possibility of introducing a Mr. Big into the game finale. It was also suggested that the Warrior work in America's Most Wanted type of theme around the game. What? Mark Pierce will look into the possible use of a CD player for audio-video purposes. I don't know. Yeah, America's Most Wanted was big in 91, but, like... How is this gonna work? I don't know. I don't know, man. Anyway, August 91. Warrior game development's chugging along. This time we have a first pass with 1 good guy and 3 bad guys. We do not have the head-to-head wave, but that shouldn't be hard to do. We still have much before us. We need to stop shoveling stuff in the game and start truly implementing and refining what we have already added. Work on moment-to-moment gameplay items. Need to get started. Yeah, I either ran out of good guys or you ran out of bad guys. After he takes a few weeks off to see his new baby for the last time until February. Damn. They're pulling in all-nighters on Guardians of the Hood. This was uploaded on Gary Stark's personal website, which is called cliffhouseproject.com, but he ended up deleting it all, and I had to grab these off the Internet Archive. This is all technical stuff. I'm looking for the funny shit. Productivity will increase significantly if these steps are taken. You better listen to Gary. Graphics has proven to be a big juggernaut. The system that Gary and Nick have come up with is working well, but still requires a lot of time. The process will be spread along once we have started to reduce the number of pictures we have to handle through editing and poses as we implement characters. Needs to surpass those in Pit Fighter. We have 2 more main characters and the finality character, which I'd redo. Javier with an H. This is welcome news since shooting this far has demanded much of the team's time. Extra time needed to separate clothes from skin. I don't know why that sounds funny. Yeah, they're still like trying to see if they can do something with like a CD player. So by this point, they actually moved to the 5-button control scheme. Part of the success of Street Fighter is the complex player characters move matrix. The challenge of the player to access and master these moves is central to the popularity of this game. Although we are implementing the use of many buttons like Street Fighter, we'll be coming up with our own unique move matrix. Now this time we're planning to use punch, jump, kick, but we'll add 2 modifiers, attack and defend? No, that's not how it played out. What would attack do? I guess just make it be a heavy attack? MSP to get busy on the player's move matrix. No one from the audio group is working on this project yet. When are we going to get people to work on audio? Research the feasibility of having a compact disc player. Remember, it was 91. CD players were still pretty expensive at the time. And they thought, if we have some CD audio playing out of this cabinet, that'll get the 14-year-old kids around the cabinet, right? Yeah, imagine a game without the Atari gongs. We've only recently got the first fighters in the game. Mapping moves to the new button layouts. We decided to make the game center around the gym and drop the FBI Most Wanted fluff. Okay, that didn't last long. We're going to try letting the player use each gang leader once they have beaten them at each Growing Wave's end. Experiment with these buried characters. We need a new name centered more around the new gym theme. So at this point, they actually have like the progression. Like this is how it matches the final game. Like you have the Jamaican gang. Yeah, not the shavers, but they were calling them skinheads at the time. The Chinese gang, and then Big Boss's clown sex dungeon. Yeah, they have it all in place. Like that all, they sort of have that figured out. Okay, this is where it gets good. Street Fighter 2 study. Thankfully, Atari's bought a Street Fighter 2 game. Who hasn't in the past year? This game has proven worldwide appeal and success. We have familiarized ourselves completely with this product. Its amazing success in the arcades is once again proof that this type of violent simulator action game is a centerpiece to our marketplace. The goal of this study was not to copy it, but to try to understand its components in order to strike similar chords in the arcade public. We have been eliciting comments and techniques from our game tester resource pool here at Atari, Tengen, and now believe we have a good feel for what have made it so popular. I don't know, man. Lots of hidden moves. Getting these moves is just frustrating enough. It seems to me the software manipulates the window of opportunity for some of these moves to help players who lose a lot. Knowing these moves and using them successfully brings the nerdiest jerk in the arcade total respect. Solid graphic presentation. Characters look neat. As a player, you want to be that character. Each pose is exaggerated and strong. The colors are bright. Head-to-head competition. Yep. Multiple characters to explore. Changing characters can help losing player gain back an advantage. Different characters appeal to different players. Yep. Automatic percentaging to help weaker players? There's no, there's nothing like that in Street Fighter 2. What the fuck are you talking about? Real fighting simulation. Defend is as important as attack. While there is easy accessibility for the novice, there's room for strategy for skilled players. Yeah, they're talking like it's like the shot percentage in NBA Jam or something, where the player that's behind, like, can make baskets more easily. There's nothing like that in Street Fighter 2. What the fuck are you talking about? How can we have a game that has no market penetration of Street Fighter 2? We must respect many of the Street Fighter features we have outlined above and build on top of this game's successful features with new items of our own. We need new controls, new wave structures, interactive playfield items, digitized graphics, but we must surpass the digitized look we had in Pit Fighter. Buried characters. Everybody loves buried characters. CD audio, maybe. I don't know. Price point. Maybe 10,000 plus kits is better than 2,500 cabinets. You guys are not selling 10,000 kits of this. I'm sorry. Oh, that's, okay. I don't know about that. I don't know how many kits they actually sold. But I don't think it was 10,000. Did they even sell 1,000 of these? I would love to know the numbers. Not these numbers. I hate numbers. There's like too many of them. We would like to release this game early. We're game for this ridiculous task, provided we get the additional support to make this a reality. Yeah, let's rush it out. That's a good idea. So this was in August? They had focus groups coming up. And one of these talks about the focus test, which is pretty good. I think it's pretty good. This one? It's not this one. Yeah, there was definitely some jealousy that, like, how is Street Fighter 2 so good? What are they doing right? And that was the problem with, like, a lot of fighting games that were coming out. Like, everybody thought it was easy to copy Street Fighter 2, but they didn't have the sauce that Capcom had. They didn't understand what actually made a fighting game good. Grab technology. Trademark that shit. So we're in November. Things have finally started to gel. This game will be a hit. Okay. I couldn't get that without a straight face. Mark Stephen Pierce, who is honored to speak for the Warriors. Why is this in a fancy font? What? MSP, what are you doing? Items technology. The move matrix. Help! We need system group type people to spend some time to figure out why the programmers must reboot about 10 times a day each. This is impacting our schedule and that of our other crucial project, Moto Mania, which I think was Moto Frenzy. Which we didn't cover in the stream. Graphics. Progress continues. We have a handful of characters left to shoot, even by November. The ones that have been shot are at various stages of completion lists below. External Sean Murphy. That's Murphy-gator. I assume Moto Mania was like the working title for Moto Frenzy. They're still calling it Skinhead. Man, they got a lot of work to do on the Asians and the Big Boss. We need to coordinate field tests. Ouch! We need to go to ROMs! We're investigating using the leftover off-the-wall short-throw joysticks from Off the Wall. What? I understand the 3-button control survived the endurance test. Idea is breaking ground on control panel design. What? Audio. Our plans to start working with the audio group after the focus group. What? They won't give up on the CD audio thing, and it's still holding out hope they can put a CD player in there. Not a good idea. Was Pit Fighter 1 a hit? It was. It was actually pretty big at the time. And that's why I got ported so much. We're in the process of restructuring the waves. I'd like to have a test version by December 15th. We need a new name to focus on. Oh, what did it say? Heavy suggest? Where was that? Oh, I heavy suggest the someone tell me the date we need to freeze data for duplication. Development schedule. Clearer between wave messages. We have 2 player characters installed. As usual for this type of game, we'll start with the typical 90 seconds of credit. 12-hour days and weekends have already been happening. 3 good guys to choose from. Yeah, so this is like a few weeks away from like having a location test, and they still don't have like everything. All the I guess they would cut the game off before like the Chinese stage. They didn't have everything shot and scripted yet. Where are we? Current schedule. Hoping to release it in February. Yeah, definitely in crunch time now. Oh, here we go. Because they're looking for a new name. I posted this on Discord. It's not a surprise. Entry names in the Name That Hit Game contest. Gangland, Rumble City, Healthy Youth, Vigilante. You can't do that. They already released a game called Vigilante. City Sweep, Street Lord, Slayman, Poss, Kick It, Neighborhoods. I like that one. Street Elite, Elite Street, City Sleaze, Streets of Ice, Streets of Crack, Dogs on Crime, City Angels, Tough Turf. Already released a game with that. Crime Watch, Neighborhood Watch, Bustin' Chops, Street Crew, Mod Squad, Street War, Cleanup Crew, Public Heroes, Safe City, Public Safety, Youth Club, In the Hood, Screwed Up Cops, Home Turf, Coming Back Strapped, Posse Club, Hood Guardians, which was the closest to the title that got used, Tattoo You, Loser, Homeboys, This Town Sucks, Defenders of the Hood, Hood Crew, Guardians Rangers, Hood Rangers, Turf Warriors, Not in My Backyard. I'll make sure the first attempt at a final name is on the cabinet so we can get our opinions from the visiting Jugend? Help me make this important decision on the name for this hit game. I think that's it. So they almost had it. Defenders of the Hood was like the closest, but then they also had Hood Guardians. So it must have been a lateral move. So I think the last document I have here is the November 27th. What was this one? November 11th. So they did a focus test. I'm sorry this text is like a little light and hard to read, but this was they got some kids in to try the game out, to try the prototype version out. Some 2 groups, some 16 to 19-year-olds and 13 to 15-year-olds. All were recruited for their interest and ability in fighting games. 2 3-player cabinets with basic game instructions and the new Big Button control were available. I think Big Button is that pie button, which was on like Captain Commando cabinets, where it's like this big button that's divided into like 2 or 3 pieces. I hate those things. All 20 players were male and are frequent players of coin-operated games. All but one of them said Street Fighter II was their favorite fighting game. Yeah, what was that last one's favorite fighting game then? Only one had a Super NES at home. I mean, Super NES had like just come out, right? That was like end of '91. Yeah, this was a sausage fest. Girls aren't interested in this. Each group split in 2 and took turns to make sure everyone got an opportunity. Both groups said there were too many bodies on the screen at once, making it difficult to see where they were and when they got hit. They all had problems lining up with enemies along the horizontal axis. Some kicks were not proportional to the size of the enemy. It was not obvious they could go into the movie theater. It didn't keep them from trying to enter the bar. In addition, how to enter and exit also caused confusion. Everybody preferred Street Fighter 2's 6-button configuration because they thought it was less confusing. A few players had trouble finding the start button since it was not marked. So this is, okay, this is the part that gets brought up later on in this, where there's too many bodies on the screen. I think originally, if they were making this like a beat 'em up, maybe they had like multiple enemies at once. But then again, if they're playing multiplayer, that means I guess that would mean there would be multiple enemies anyway. So maybe that doesn't... Never mind what I said. So there was... Because they always add one enemy for like every player that's on screen. But yeah, either way, there's going to be a lot of bodies on the screen. Unfortunately, players gave a lukewarm response to Warrior. They were so biased to Street Fighter II that to a degree that it affected their objectivity of Warrior. They like new moves to learn, plus ones that work one time but don't the next. Nobody likes that. Players preferred the gym screen the most. They felt upon entering the alley scene, they felt overwhelmed by an instant barrage of enemies. They reacted well to many of the interactive items in the background. They like picking up the bum. Who doesn't like picking up the bum? Older players showed no hesitation in playing a female character. They liked Chun-Li of Street Fighter II because she's quick, strong, and a good fighter that made her superior to other opponents. She's not actually the best character in World Warrior, though. But the two groups' suggestions ranged from petite to big bodybuilder, quick speed, powerful legs, and a strong-looking physique. Other suggestions included an unassuming small, thin guy, a big, bulky guy, and a motorcycle-type guy. Judgments of the Will Willis. I don't know who Will Willis is. I think it's Connor. And Javier characters were mixed. Some thought Javier was faster, but some didn't. When asked how many that liked the appearance of Will and Javier, there were comments ranged from alright to cool. Older group expressed some concern that the gang concept could cause trouble amongst players. A few witnessed fights that led to be broken up by the police. One said a player returned with a gun after losing a game. Some other suggestions for enemies. Schoolboy gangs, teachers, principals, and animals. What? Favorite characters included Ken, Ryu, Chun-Li, Guile, and Blanc in Street Fighter II. Kids hate school. They want to beat up their teachers, you know? Can you let us beat up our teachers? That'd be really cool. With limited time, players discovered some of the hidden moves, specifically the foot sweep and Will's backflip. The backflip is a hidden move? Jeez. He didn't use to defend much, only in one-on-one situations. Players suggested that each character have different regular moves as well as special moves. Other suggestions include throwing bodies through windows and the movie screen in the theater. Players liked the objects. They wanted clubs, knives, rocks, and car fenders. Everybody liked the gym scene. They liked the head-to-head action. The younger age group was more positive of the new button layout. Those in the older group thought the big button made it too easy to accidentally hit the wrong button. They said hitting the wrong button in Street Fighter II didn't matter as much because it would only minimally alter the move. I don't know if that's true, but alright. Almost all the younger group liked the big button. I should have gotten a picture of what those pie buttons look like. I'm sure somebody can get a picture. Nearly all voiced a presence for animated fantasy style of art to the digitized look of Warrior. Oh, that's a bad sign. Everybody's saying no. We don't digitize graphics. They're out. We don't want to see this shit. Colors need to be brighter, and they're now too dark. One player had trouble differentiating between the red and yellow character of Will, and often got confused on the screen. The younger group mentioned a preference for Pit Fighter's black and white backgrounds because characters cannot be seen better against it, or could be seen better against it. That's a damn good point. You never noticed that, but in the original Pit Fighter, like most of the stages, like everybody in the background is like grayscale. That's so the characters that are there like pop more. Like they, you can more easily tell the characters apart from the background. They don't do that in Guardians of the Hood, so yeah, everything gets can get a little muddled. You never really think about that. I mean, you've seen that in other games, like the prototype version of KOF 94 had like a really colorful background for like the Mexico stage, but they thought it was like hard to like tell the characters apart, so they put an orange filter on it that kind of looks like shit, but they wanted to make the characters pop a little more. So damn, good on you, whoever pointed that out. Music preferences. Rap, heavy metal, reggae, hard rock, country, and top 40. Younger group, heavy metal, country, top 40, and thrash. Players requested they be able to select their music a la Sega Outrun. Rap-oriented 13 to 15-year-olds were negative to having to listen to heavy metal in a game. Yeah, the kids know more about what the game should look like than the people making it. Favorite movies included Home Alone, Robin Hood, Shattered, Terminator 2, and New Jack City. The younger players like T2, New Jack City, and Boys in the Hood. I'll have to post a link to the Wayback Machine where I found it, I guess. I'll do that in a second. Game name, Jump Street, Tough Turf, Pit Fighter 2, Gangbangers. Then for some reason they start talking about Captain America. I thought it was a good game. Yeah, Captain America and Avengers is a good game. Comprehension. Like Pit Fighter, players had problems telling who's who on the screen. Cutting down the number of bodies might reduce the confusion. Allowing more than one player to select the same... You couldn't even pick the same character in the prototype. Tweaking collisions will hopefully reduce frustrations. I think many of the players' remarks are based on comparisons to Street Fighter 2 than objective criticism. 10 months ago, players would probably have been more open-minded, but now players see Street Fighter 2 as the new standard in fighting games. You hear me say this a lot in all these push-to-reject streams in 1991 and 1992, how it's just so hard to compete with Street Fighter 2. They're saying it right there. Street Fighter 2 fucking changed everything. You cannot overstate it enough. Players' less than ecstatic reactions to Javier and Will show that adding unique moves are necessary to improve their popularity. In addition, showing some personality may make it easier for them to relate to him/her. In Street Fighter 2, Guile combs his hair occasionally, and Dalsum floats in the midair. I love relating to Dalsum floating in the midair. Also, the Sworded Commons supported the development of a character base comprised of various ethnic groups. But yeah, the characters in... whatever. I'll leave that alone. Street Fighter 2 players were allowed to savor the killing blow, a subtle pause after each hit, highlighting its effect. And when the fatal punch was landed, the action entered slow motion and the loser slowly hits the canvas. I think this makes the win more rewarding for the winner. Yeah. Long-range fantasy powers like those used in Street Fighter 2 could be good in Warrior also. So I think this is where they came up with the magic moves. Gary prefers a dark and serious nature, but kids like the inventiveness these moves and characters bring. So I assume the magic moves were like kind of a late addition to the game. Players would prefer a breather after exiting the theater before getting into another brawl. Pacing the action with momentary rest points is important. I believe players will feel more in control and less frustrated. They know when you're demanding another quarter. They know. Yeah, Atari was just talking about hit stun in 1991. That's crazy. Adding a bonus way of destroying gang headquarters with lots of breakable objects would be too much fun for a teenager to resist. Perhaps with smaller hands, the new control was better. They cited ease in hitting all buttons for the super move. Other players cited it being too easy to hit the wrong buttons. I'm not sold that this is the best button arrangement. The big button seems to be more compatible for a game like Relief Pitcher. Graphics. Players prefer animated game graphics. I doubt it spells doom for digitized games, but identified its appeal as not as great as others have perceived. Their favorite game is anime. Street Fighter 2 is just is muddying the objective criticism. They're talking about the later Relief Pitcher, which I thought was 92. Yeah, it came out in 92. But it did use the pie button. The awful pie button. Fantasy allows for moves like fireballs, inverted helicopter kicks, fire breathe, arm leg stretch kicks, punches, boomerangs, head bites, high voltage shocks, etc. These things really appeal to the imagination of a teenager. Yeah, Atari thinks digitized graphics are on the way out, but then, you know, Midway kind of figured it out. Okay, so comparative game ratings. How does this game compare to Pit Fighter? Pit Fighter, the game that came out a year before, is not rating as high. Or, Warrior is not rating as high. Like, none of the kids think it's excellent. They think it's very good, I guess. But nobody thought Pit Fighter was, like, fair or poor. Rate the player controls. It's all over the place. Rate the sounds. Everybody thought Pit Fighter sounded excellent. Rate the way the game is scored or points are accumulated. Bitch, nobody gives a shit about that. Rate the pictures of the graphics on the screen. Again, everybody thinks Pit Fighter looked way better than than this new game they're making. So that had to make them sweat a little bit. How is this game compared to other video games you played? 10% said much better. A little better, about the same. I'm surprised there weren't more others are better. Check any of the following you feel would describe your favorite game. Appeals to all ages. Clear goal or objective of game. Easy to control. Silly. Room to improve score. Both girls and boys would like. Boring. We'll be around a long time. Pit Fighter, the first game, Pit Fighter is going to be around I can't highlight it right. A lot longer than Guardians of the Hood. Hard to master. So yeah, I thought there was like a comparison between they made a comparison between Warrior and Street Fighter 2, but I guess not. But yeah, as you can see, like, it's kind of amazing. Like, this game actually got released. I think, you know, Atari they kept canceling prototypes, and I guess, you know, at this point there was they'd invested so much in this, right? Like there was so much they'd already so much digitization and so on and so forth that they had to see it through.